this video we are going to discuss what is the use of scanf function. So scanf is a predefined function whose declaration is present in the stereo.h file, which we always include in our every C program. So what is the use of scanf? So in C programming or any other programming, what we do, we take data and process on it and give the output to the user. So in some program we want to allow the user to enter the data as he wants. For this purpose, the function scanf is used that user can enter the data as he wants. So let us discuss what is the use and how to implement it. So first we include the stereo.h file. Include stereo.h. There are function int main. So one more thing I want to tell you, that C is a statically typed language. That means at time of compilation, the compiler should know how much memory should be allocated to your C program. That means whatever variable we are using, whatever data we want to store, we have to first define it, that which type of data it is. In the previous video we have discussed the data type, so we have to define what is the data type of variable we want to use in our program. Let's say I make two variables of integer type, a and b. So these are two variables of integer type. So at compile time, the compiler will know how much memory is to be allocated, but at compiler time the memory is not going to be allocated. It will allocate at runtime, but it should be known to compiler at compile time. So I have declared two variable, int a and int b. So I will print a string for the user, printf, that enter two number, enter two numbers. So by this statement, user will get to know that he have to print he have to give two numbers, and in further we will access these two numbers by using scanf function. Scanf. In scanf we have to first give the format specifier, that which type of data we are putting. In the previous videos we have discussed that printf is also take format specifier, and format specifier are the are nothing but defines the what type of data we are putting. So we are using integer variable, so format specifier will be print %d. So what we can do is we can take values one by one, or either we can take both value in one scanf function only. So this is the first argument of scanf, and in second argument we have to give the address. So what is address? In our C program, all the variables have certain space occupied in RAM. So we have to give that address, that where to store the data. So we have to write per address of a. This is address of operator, or ampersand we call it, but in C programming we will call it address of operator, comma address of b. So what it will do, it will take the it will store scanf store the value at address of a, because when we defines a, so some memory is allocated to variable a and some memory allocated to variable b, and address define the address of first byte of the memory. So scanf will store the value at that point, so semicolon. And what we do in the next, we will print both the values, print %d, %d. It will generate a space, and in last a comma b. We know the use of printf, that how to use printf when we want to print the variable, semicolon, and then return 0 statement, return 0. So let's build and run this code. So we are getting a string that enter two numbers. So let us put 5 and 6. So as we can see that the output is 5 and 6. That means scanf is taking the input what we are passing to it, and then printf is printing the data. So this is how scanf is used. If we are using integer values, that then we have used %d. If we want to store float values are nothing but real numbers or numbers with decimal, then we use format specifier %f. %f. So here also we have to use %f, %f, and let's build and run. Enter two number, so I'll enter 5.7 and 9.4. So we are getting the output as 5.700. It is showing that how precisely the value is stored in the memory.